Hey guys, it's not every day a boy becomes a man. And not every day I get to review my favorite video game of the last 3 years, Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. Ratchet and Clank is the latest installment in the popular series and the first ever in the next-gen gaming era. The feel and look of the game reminds me a lot of Pixar's The Incredibles, except much funnier and without a creepy Asian midget. Now the game's graphic design is mirrored in its presentation. It's a fun and simple layout that can get you exactly where you want to go and quickly. It's simple, but it works very well, and the overall presentation mirrors the game itself. Presentation gets a 9.0. It's a normal day for our two heroes until a few thousand heavily armed robotic commandos show up and practically destroy the city looking for Ratchet. We meet our vertically challenged antagonist, Emperor Tachyon, who is seeking revenge against the remaining Lombaxes who he blames for his species' disappearance from the galaxy, and Ratchet unfortunately being the only remaining Lombax. Now our guys escape his grasp and spend the rest of the game hopping around from planet to planet in a very well-written and engaging tale of mystery and adventure. Story gets a straight 10.0. Now the highlight of the game is the incredibly varying types of gameplay. Everyone expected Ratchet and Clank to be a good platformer, and it is, but what they didn't expect is it is the best shooter out on the PlayStation 3. Now the weapons range from long-range energy and missile guns to stationary devices. One of my personal favorites is the disco ball, which will make all of the enemies on screen start dancing. It's a cheap tool, but it's funny as Guns become available as the game progresses, and are available at weapon kiosks which appear throughout all of the levels. As a big RPG gamer, I was surprised when I realized that Ratchet and Clank had the best leveling up system I've ever seen. Weapons can be upgraded through the kiosks by spending Raritarium, and the weapons themselves will also progress in their overall levels the more you use them. The biggest problem with systems like this is that you can't rely on the same weapon over and over. But since the guns in the game are so great, you won't have a problem using all your weapons in your arsenal. Now you also have armor you can buy, and the neat thing is that the cutscenes are in-game animated, so your armor is consistent in gameplay and in the cutscenes themselves. Now the platforming is phenomenally better than recent PS3 release Uncharted Drake's Fortune. There are so many different types of movement that no specific type ever gets old. And this is the first time I've played any game that uses the motion control in the PS3 controller in an effective way. It's a constant rotation in gameplay that keeps the game fresh and will make you want to break up with your girlfriend, move to Canada, and barricade yourself in the basement with nothing but your system and some Cheetos. Now, one of my favorite aspects of the gameplay is the Star Fox 64-like plane fights. They're a bit long and sometimes difficult, but they give a good breather to the shooting and platforming aspect of the game. The sound in the game, from the music to the explosions, are fantastic. You never get sucked out of the story with corny dialogue or cheesy effects. The voice acting is the best I have ever seen in a video game. The personalities are so well developed and the execution is flawless. You can tell that every joke was carefully written and every line of dialogue was well directed. Now the graphics are stunning. Everyone can make things look pretty, but the animations that govern the visuals are almost breathtaking at times. I think the coolest aspect was that there was always a lot going on in the background. Everything is really busy, so you end up seeing the composition as a whole as opposed to just getting bored looking at your one character. Now the character designs are really neat and creative. I've gotten so sick with futuristic, sleek anime-type game design. It's nice to see artists who are allowed to go crazy with their creations. It reminds me a lot of how enjoyable it was to play Final Fantasy IX. Graphics get a 9.8. Alright, lasting appeal. Like many new releases, the game takes around 12 to 15 hours to complete, but don't be surprised if you end up playing this one a second time around. Insomniac designed the game to repeat once you beat it, so it will sport more powerful enemies and better guns. If you happen to find the parts of the Halo plan among the 7 or 8 different planets you visit, you can pick up the Rhino gun, which basically picks up anything on screen. Can anyone guess how I rated the game? It's awesome, it's fantastic, it's the best thing that has ever graced this planet since Febreze. It gets a 10, a 10. Did you hear me? I have never allowed anyone to give a game a 10 on this show before, but no, this is one of the best games I have ever played, a 10. Thank you guys, back to you.